Shantae, aka Shantizi, on Twitter and Instagram, or just simply just Shantae Berry. So I'm here with an edition called Shantae's Analysis. So I have revamped the platform. So I will be doing the YouTube and Periscope on weekdays and even on the weekends. And on Friday, you can catch me on Instagram, and then Fridays here for the after show. So here we are. So I am going to get into, we got some topics for tonight, and I'm going to get into COVID-19 because we're still in the midst of this pandemic. It's still here. It's not going anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere. So here we are. So globally, we have 33,279,488 cases of COVID-19 around the world. The death toll has reached the millionth mark. If those who don't watch me or have watched me, I have said it time and time again, we will hit 1 million cases. Hey, we will hit 1 million cases. So we have 1,825,000 cases of COVID-19 around the world. Here at home in the U.S., we are at 7.1. So we're 7,147,751 cases here. And our death toll is 205,062. And of course, I'm going to say it. We have no national coordinated response. Not one. Not near one. India got 6 million. They at 6,074,702. Brazil's at 4.7. Russia's still at 1.1. Colombia is at 818,203. Peru is at 805,302. Spain is at 748,266. Mexico's at 733,717. Argentina, which now surpassed South Africa, is at 723,132. And South Africa lands down to 671,000. DR has 111,066. Panama has 111,277. Guatemala has 90,000. Nigeria has 58,460. Ghana has 46,044. And Kenya has 38,168. Haiti has 8,740. Jamaica has 6,170. Trinidad and Tobago has 86. Guyana has 2,787. Belize has 1,854. Barbados has 190 cases. Antigua has 101 cases. St. Vincent has 64 cases. Dominica has 30 cases, which surpassed St. Lucia at 27. Grenada still at 24. And St. Kitts is at 19. So all these numbers you can find on the Johns Hopkins website. These are no made-up number shit. I didn't make these numbers out of my ass. These are real numbers. On the New York Times COVID map, you see California is at 814,650. Texas at 773,974. Florida at 701,294. Keep in mind, they just opened phase 3. If you saw the videos on Florida, it's disgusting. They're going to have more cases, probably more than Texas by the time being, or probably going to reach up to where California is. All I know, these 3 states have surpassed New York, which is at 461,176, because I'm going to get into New York because somebody made a particular comment about New York. Also, Georgia has 298,963. Illinois has 293,136. Arizona has 217,513. North Carolina has 208,480. New Jersey has 205,898, and Tennessee rounds up that top 10 with 190,991 cases. Of course, there is, like I said, no national coordinated response. But Mr. Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, had the fucking audacity to mention New York out his mouth once again. I thought he learned when he came up here into the Bronx that to not mention no crazy shit out of his mouth when it comes to New York. Obviously, he did not learn that lesson. So I am going to play the exchange that he had on The View. Even though those who don't watch The View, I particularly watch it for the political stuff. So here we go. Just trying to find the history of my videos that I watch, because I do watch a lot of videos on YouTube. So he criticizes New York.
So, Senator, just a few minutes ago, you said, and correctly, the country is suffering. There are many people out of work, but you would like to open safely, follow the science, protect small business, and all of that. But Republican Florida Governor DeSantis, for example, recently lifted all coronavirus restrictions on businesses, allowing bars and restaurants to open at full capacity without a mask mandate. He said they won't be closing anything going forward. Now, what's your response to Governor DeSantis's policy, one, and would you do the same thing in Texas if you could?
So, yes, we should reopen, and I actually think if you look at Florida, if you look at Texas, the death rates have been much, much lower there than, for example, states like New York, New Jersey, states with Democratic governors, where the death rates have been enormously through the roof. New York, in particular, has led the country in death rate, and I think it had a lot to do with the Democratic governor there, Governor Cuomo, sending people who had COVID into nursing homes. Well, the death rate is 3 times as high as the death rate in Texas or Florida. I'm sorry?
I'm talking about Florida right now, not New York. New York got hit very early, and a lot of people were coming in without any kind of sanction.
But the government policy was different, and the policy made a difference. The government policy was different, and the policy made a difference. The policy of the governors of New York and New Jersey of sending people who were COVID positive into nursing homes was catastrophic, and it resulted in a horrific death rate. No, I'm saying we should actually listen to sound science and protect people and keep them safe.
Let me jump in here. It's a slight pivot here.
I'd like to jump in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to say, I do want to point out that had the man who is running the country right now given us this information in January when he had it, when we could have maybe done something a little differently, it might have worked differently. I just wanted to point that out. It's not about whose people died more. People died and they didn't have to. Go ahead, Sarah.
Well, I just wanted to really quick ask Senator Cruz, just a day after the late Justice Ginsburg laid in state at the Capitol, Senate Republicans started selling notorious AC.
Okay. So, I live in New York. For those who live elsewhere, or if you live in New York or New Jersey, every governor was going by what the jackass in the White House was saying. Governor Cuomo did not let sick people go to the nursing homes. He actually told people that hospitals around the country, around the state, to limit their guests for coming to the hospitals and nursing homes. Because my sister was in a hospital. My sister had her foot amputated. And after the 15th or the 16th, I could not see my sister anymore. Nobody was allowed to visit medical facilities or nursing facilities or rehabilitation facilities after March 15th or March 16th. So what the fuck is Ted Cruz and all these fucking Republicans talking about? That's one. Second, Governor DeSantis has over 700,000 some odd cases in Florida, and he's moving to phase 3. Why is he moving to phase 3? I have no idea. There's videos, it's all viral on Twitter, and you can see his people, the young people in the state, the Gen Z generation, even some that are millennials in my generation, are shaking their ass and drinking and grinding up on each other like COVID-19 is not still here. They did not have their mask on. It's still here. All of us is working from home or doing live streams to keep ourselves entertained and to keep ourselves still working. I don't get paid to do this, but I care about people so much that I want to inform people of what I know. This man is a whole ass liar. out here. And for Ted Cruz to tap dance for a man who disrespects your wife, called your wife ugly 4 years ago. Oh, we still remember when he put the picture of Trump's wife, his mannequin looking wife, to Cruz's wife, Heidi. You only say, "Leave Heidi the hell alone." See, the same New Yorkers you criticize, we would have fucked Trump's ass up. The same Andrew Cuomo you talking about, you don't got that much, you got so much smoke for him on camera, but when it comes in person, you run like a little bitch. Because my governor's about that life. You could be a liberal, a liberal or progressive or a conservative or moderate that don't agree with Governor Cuomo, but I can tell you this, when it comes to natural disaster, you know how to handle business. And because of his leadership, we moved from number 1 to number 4. DeSantis surpassed us. California surpassed us. And Texas surpassed us. And their shit is close to the fucking millions area. We're still in the 400s. These people have 700 and above. It's a lot. Whole lot. And people they still didn't shut that, still shaking their ass all over the place. And coming to our state, and we allowing these motherfuckers here when they supposed to be quarantined. If you come from these other places, because there's a travel advisory list. The fuck is wrong with y'all? Shit is all the way crazy. I'm just saying. But that was that interview. And, well, his ass got shut down that whole interview. Whoopi cut that shit up because Whoopi was like, you're not going to be lying on here. Like, you're not going to be doing that. And Megan wasn't there, so that was good. So, anyway, I want to get into Mr. Trump's taxes because somebody said they felt entitled to get their $750. So, I'm going to pull up that article. Because I thought it was fucking hilarious that he said that shit. It's fucking hilarious. Like, I don't understand, like, how you feel like you're entitled. Listen, he said he felt entitled, and I want to read part of this article. So according to Fox News, Trump is on the defense after New York Times published tax info say he was entitled to credits like everyone else. Donald Trump on Monday defended his tax history, saying he felt he had paid millions of dollars to the Internal Revenue Service, also known as the IRS, and argued he is entitled to tax credits like everyone else in the wake of a New York Times report that said he paid no income taxes at all in 10 or 15 previous years. He said the fake news media, just like the election time 2016, is bringing up my taxes and all sorts of nonsense that will illegally obtain information and bad intent. No one did not illegally pick that up. The Supreme Court basically gave the district attorney, the DA in New York and Manhattan, Cy Vance, the information to get your tax returns. And once he got that information, I'm pretty sure, I don't know where New York Times got it from, but it's public knowledge, according to New York, the city of New York, and probably the state of New York too, because once Cy Vance gets information, you know it's going to go to the state to go to the AG, and she's not playing. I paid millions of dollars, but was entitled like everyone else to depreciation and tax credits. He continued. Also, if you look at the extraordinary assets owned by me, which the fake news hasn't, I had extremely under leverage. I have very little debt compared to the value assets. Okay. If you grew up in New York City, Northern New Jersey, or Southern Connecticut, you know good and damn well that Donald Trump has filed for bankruptcy 4 times throughout his career, throughout his business career. He has took out loans like no other. He has $300 million in loans he got to pay back in 4 years. I know he asked for money for certain banks such as Deutsche Bank. He tried to get, I think, money with Chase. I'm not quite as sure, but you already know what happened. And yes, every single business person tries to pay as little taxes. He pays $750. I was looking at my taxes. I was like, damn, I pay some motherfucking taxes. And I even make not even an eighth of what that man makes. And I paid a lot in taxes. And I only got back less than $2,000 each time. And what got me into like $1,700 or $1,800 back for my taxes was because of my student loan interest. And the fact is that I claimed that on my taxes and also paid for school too. And paid back my student loans because they're government loans. That's how I was so goddamn lucky. My last taxes only got like $1,900 back. And this motherfucker gets $72.9 million back in refund, tax refund. That is bullshit. I'm pissed. I was like, my rent is probably like $10 less than what he got back, what he paid in taxes. And that's my rent. Because I do live in affordable housing. But then I got other bills that amount to $1,300, that amounts altogether $1,300, $1,400 a month. And you saying you're entitled like everyone else? No, the fuck you're not. You are the 1%. The 1%. You're not. You're entitled to give more money. That's what you're entitled to. Give more money. What you should have done before was give more money to New York City. The same place where you have your businesses at. But who am I? I'm going to move right along to Cambridge Analytica. So Cambridge Analytica basically pretty much was in cahoots with the voter suppression. I don't hate rich people. I just don't like Donald Trump because I never did. But I'm going to play this from Cambridge Analytica because it seems like, this here, I was very angry, very upset as a black person because it's like, how the fuck you get everybody else's information? I have no idea. But here we are.
Long been accused of ignoring the voices. Donald Trump has long been accused of ignoring the voices of millions of black Americans. Now we can reveal how he has actively tried to silence them. We've obtained the database used by Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign, a vast collection of files on almost 200 million US citizens. It shows what they knew and what they did, the secret tactics that helped turn Donald Trump into the president.
So you got people's information and shit? That's what you doing? That's what you doing out here? Also, in continuation with that, here's a guy he interviews. What is her name? He interviews one of the state senators. I actually do. But like I said, if you don't like what I'm saying, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe this is not the live stream for you. This senator name is, and I wrote it down, but because I wrote so, Lena Taylor, that's her name. So here we are.
Well, we can look here, for example, at ward number 160.
Yes.
And what we have here is the names and addresses of all those people and how they were segmented. But what's really interesting is that a huge number of these names were marked down for deterrence.
So they specifically looked at those individuals and said, we are going to do everything to try to deter them and create ads that would do that. That is a strategic level that by no means did I know was existing. That is mind-boggling. I'm like shocked that they had in 2016 all the way down to we need to deter that one. Somebody has worked this hard to strategically disenfranchise you, to discourage you. What it should tell people is the power, right, of their vote.
How you doing? So you have information like that, and spreading misinformation is ridiculous. Posing as people on their pictures and either the person's alive or dead. It's ridiculous. Like on Kenny's live stream, which is Too Raw, Too Real, I suggest that you subscribe to his YouTube channel and also follow him on Twitter. Very awesome. Very good. And it just makes me so angry that these people's information, like these people really like suppress the vote, which put out misinformation on Hillary Clinton. That was ridiculous. And I'm like, Hillary was my senator. Like, she did shit for my state. Like, that's insane. And did a whole host of other things. But once again, this was all to get this man elected. The New York scam artist. The bum of the bottom of the barrel that I watched when growing up, watching him basically being a whole hot ass mess on this full display. And it just makes me upset. It makes me upset. I'm mad. I've been mad for years. I've been looking at people a different angle. And every time when I try to have a conversation with a far right person, I can't even say conservatives, because Trumpers are not conservative. I'm being real. Because there's conservatives I know ain't down with the shit. So the Trumpers, divisive. All black people are poor? No, we're not. I can't have conversations like that with people. I get upset. I get irate. And me going back and forth with you is me going to make me hit you. Because it seems like I got to hit some sense into you to understand. So I try to avoid all conversations with folks when it comes to politics. Because getting through people, it's like you want to hit them with a metal object. I know that's my first gravity. But this whole notion that this information is disturbing. It disturbs my soul. It disturbs my body. And since like living in this twilight zone, I have been looking at people differently. And it's so sad I got to look at you differently. Because I don't like looking at people differently, but it seems like I got to these days until things get right. And it's going to take years for things to get right when it comes to race relations. Because it's fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible. And Wednesday was a remedy. But the Kentucky AG, who was a black conservative, which I don't even know if his ass is conservative or not. But I don't think you know Donald Trump very well. So it's not what the media myth has feed me. You don't know very well. I grew up here. I've seen it on full display. I know. The man's office was 20 or 30 minutes away from the train, a train ride from my house. I grew up on the Museum Mile, which I could always walk all the way down to his office at the time. I know. I know offhand. So, the Kentucky AG. So Daniel Cameron says he will release grand jury recording in Breonna Taylor's case on Wednesday after the governor and after a couple other Kentucky officials basically came for your ass and some activists. The grand jury is meant to be a secretive body. It's apparent that the public interest in the case isn't going to allow that to happen. As a special prosecutor, our team has an ethical obligation not to release the recording from the grand jury proceedings, and we stand by our beliefs that such a release could compromise the ongoing federal investigation, could have intended consequences such as poisoning the jury pool. Despite these concerns, we comply with the judge's order to release the recordings on Wednesday. The release of the recordings will also address the legal complaint filed by an anonymous grand juror. We have no concerns with grand jurors sharing their thoughts on our presentation because we are confident in the case presented. Once the public listens to the recording, they will see that over the course of 2.5 days, our team presented a thorough and completed case to the grand jury. Our prosecutors presented all the evidence, even though the evidence presented the Sergeant Mattingly and Detective Cosgrove were justified in their use of force, having been fired by Kenneth Walker. For the reason the charge recommended was wanton endangerment. I thought stand your ground applies to people of all colors, not just white people. But apparently not. Apparently not. It's like black people don't matter. And for those conservatives said that they care for us, this live ain't for you. You get the fuck off. Especially the white counterparts. And it's not to be mean, but I don't want your sympathy right now. I just want you to listen and don't say nothing. Because at this point, I have seen this since I was 5. With Rodney King, Amadou Weiner, Amadou Diallo, Sean Bell, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Michael Brown, Eric Gardner, Sandra Bland, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and now Breonna Taylor. I'm tired, and Jacob Blake. I'm tired. It's too many names, and Freddie Gray. I keep forgetting about Freddie Gray. It's just too. It's so many countless names. For why, I have no fucking idea. Black lives seems to not matter to people. more so to these staunchy AGs. And Daniel Cameron, I would have thought at least do the humanistic thing and just be like, you know what? They came without this. But no, he took the investigation of the cops. He took the cops' word. And not the young brother. And you're supposed to be a brother your damn self. Like I told people, if you don't want to hear what I say, you get off. Don't say nothing because it's going to make me angry. And people talking about, oh, we're coming for Daniel Cameron. Daniel Cameron wasn't being human enough. He felt like black people like him don't matter. I don't know if you're trying to get into good grace of Republican circles, white male Republican circles, but it's not going to get you anywhere. You will still be treated like the black man that you look like. They're not going to value you. You're no value to them. And I'm just being real about it. That's just my real intake. And if you don't like what I'm saying, maybe you can block me from Periscope. You don't have to be on here. Because this is real shit. It's real talk. And that's how I feel about it. Not going to go any further because it's going to make me irritated and very upset. But it is what it is. Elections, they do matter. And when his time comes up, he needs to get out. But lastly, before I leave, what I expect for tomorrow's debate, I expect, of course, one person is going to go low. And the other person, I hope the other person takes the high road. I hope the other person focus on the task at hand and focus what he's going to do for the American people and basically cut down Trump's years as the executive commander-in-chief or the commander-in-chief. That is my take on that. As I said something earlier on Too Raw, Too Real, I do not want him to engage in the petty shit because Donald Trump is going to distract and deflect. I just want Joe Biden to focus on Trump's executive record as the commander-in-chief and how he has led us into a disaster warning and roll back protections for years to come, and how he's going to do better for us. Because I have faith in Joe Biden. He was a damn good vice president, and he's going to be a damn good commander-in-chief, and he has the fiercest black woman by his side. So that's my take on that. So I encourage you guys to watch that. But until then, have a good night. And remember to vote. Period.